For almost a year, 26-year-old Mia Harper had the same strange dream. It always began in the same place. She would be standing on a wooden bridge above a quiet lake surrounded by mountains. The air was cool, and the sky was painted with the colors of sunset. Across the bridge stood a man she had never met before. He had kind eyes, dark hair, and a gentle smile. In every dream, he looked at her as if he had known her forever. Sometimes they talked for hours. Sometimes they simply walked together beside the lake. Yet every morning, just before Mia woke up, he would say the same words. "Don't worry, we will meet when the time is right." Then the dream would end. At first, Mia thought it was just a random dream. But as the months passed, it continued returning. The man's face became clearer each time. His voice sounded familiar. The strange thing was that Mia had never seen him in real life. She worked as a graphic designer in the city and spent most of her days creating advertisements and social media content. Her life was busy and ordinary. Yet every night she secretly hoped the dream would return. Her best friend Chloe laughed whenever Mia talked about it. "You've watched too many romantic movies," Chloe joked. "Maybe," Mia replied. "But it feels so real." Deep down, she knew it sounded impossible. How could someone dream about the same stranger over and over again? One Saturday morning, Mia decided to take a break from city life. She drove several hours to a small mountain town famous for its beautiful scenery. She planned to spend the weekend hiking, reading, and relaxing. After checking into a small hotel, she decided to explore the area. As she walked through the town, she noticed a path leading toward a lake. Curious, she followed it. 10 minutes later, she suddenly stopped walking. Her heart began beating faster. In front of her stood a wooden bridge crossing a quiet lake surrounded by mountains. It looked exactly like the place from her dreams. Mia stared in disbelief. The bridge, the trees, the water, even the shape of the mountains looked almost identical. "That's impossible," she whispered. She slowly walked onto the bridge. Her mind raced with questions. Had she seen a picture of this place before and forgotten? Was it simply a coincidence? She stood there for several minutes, trying to calm herself. Then she heard footsteps behind her. When she turned around, she froze. A man was walking toward her. Dark hair, kind eyes, the same gentle smile. It was him, the stranger from her dreams. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Mia felt as though the world had stopped moving. The man looked equally surprised. Finally, he laughed softly. "This is going to sound strange," he said, "but I feel like I've seen you before." Mia almost dropped her phone. She stared at him. "You have no idea how strange that sounds." His name was Ethan Walker. He lived in the town and worked as a nature photographer. They ended up talking for nearly an hour on the bridge. The conversation felt surprisingly natural. It was as if they were old friends meeting again after years apart. Before leaving, Ethan invited her to join him for coffee. Normally, Mia would have been cautious about accepting an invitation from a stranger. But something about him felt familiar and safe. During coffee, they talked about everything from childhood memories to future dreams. The more they talked, the more comfortable they felt together. Before saying goodbye, Ethan asked if she would like to meet again the next day. Mia smiled. "I'd like that." The next morning, Ethan showed her around the town. They visited waterfalls, walked through forests, and shared stories about their lives. As the day passed, Mia found herself forgetting all her worries. Ethan had a way of making every moment feel special. When she laughed, he laughed with her. When she spoke, he listened carefully. By sunset, she already knew she would miss him when she returned to the city. That evening, they sat beside the lake watching the sun disappear behind the mountains. Mia decided to tell him about the dreams. She expected him to think she was crazy. Instead, Ethan listened quietly. When she finished, He looked thoughtful. I don't know how to explain that, he admitted. But when I first saw you on the bridge, I felt something too. Like somehow I already knew you. Neither of them had answers. Yet neither could ignore the connection they felt. Over the following months, Mia and Ethan stayed in touch. They called each other almost every day. Whenever possible, they traveled to visit each other. The distance was difficult, but their relationship continued growing stronger. Slowly, friendship became something deeper. One evening, while talking on the phone, Mia realized she was smiling for no reason except hearing his voice. Another day, Ethan drove 4 hours just to surprise her with lunch during a stressful week. Little moments like these made their feelings impossible to ignore. Several months later, Ethan invited Mia back to the lake. It was autumn and the trees were covered in beautiful golden leaves. As they walked across the bridge where they had first met, Ethan suddenly stopped. Do you know something funny? He asked. What? Mia replied. Ethan smiled. The day we met, I had almost decided not to go to the lake. I was busy with work, but something told me I should go anyway. Mia laughed. Good thing you listened. Ethan nodded. The best decision I ever made. Then he reached into his pocket. Mia's heart immediately began racing. Ethan took her hand and looked into her eyes. I don't know why we met the way we did. I don't understand the dreams. Maybe I never will. But I do know one thing. He paused for a moment. Meeting you changed my life. Tears filled Mia's eyes. Ethan continued. Every future I imagine includes you. So I have one question. He slowly knelt down on one knee. Mia covered her mouth in shock. Mia Harper, will you marry me? Tears rolled down her cheeks as she nodded again and again. Yes, she whispered. Yes, of course. Ethan slipped the ring onto her finger as the sun painted the lake with golden light. For a moment, everything felt exactly like a dream. Yet this time it was real. Later that evening, they sat together beside the water. Mia rested her head on Ethan's shoulder. Remember what the man in my dream always said? She asked. Ethan smiled. We will meet when the time is right. Mia nodded. Looks like he was right. Ethan laughed softly and kissed her forehead. As the stars appeared above the lake, Mia realized something beautiful. Sometimes life creates stories that seem impossible. Stories that cannot be explained by logic or reason. And sometimes, the person you have been waiting for is already finding their way toward you. You simply have to trust that when the time is right, your paths will finally cross.